Karnak Temple, the heartbeat of ancient Egypt. Good evening, dear listeners, and welcome to the first chapter of our series, The Most Sacred Temples in History. Tonight, we embark on a journey through time to a land where the sun scorches endless dunes and the mighty Nile carves life into the desert. This is ancient Egypt, a civilization of breathtaking wonders where gods walked among mortals and stone bore witness to eternity. At the center of this mystical world stands Karnak Temple, a sprawling monument of faith, power, and enigma. So find a quiet corner, let your imagination take flight, and join me as we step into the shadows of history, a land of gods and kings. Picture yourself standing on the banks of the Nile, the air shimmering with heat and the distant hum of a bustling city. This is Thebes, the ancient capital of Egypt during its golden age, a place where pharaohs ruled as living gods, and the divine was woven into every breath of life. At the heart of Thebes lies Karnak, not merely a temple, but a vast complex of sanctuaries, towering gateways, and sacred halls, a city within a city, built to honor the gods and immortalize the rulers who served them. For over 2 millennia, from the Middle Kingdom around 2000 BCE to the twilight of the Ptolemaic era, Karnak stood as the spiritual pulse of Egypt. Known to the ancients as Ipet-Isut, the most select of places, it was here that the great god Amun-Ra, king of the gods, was worshipped with unrivaled devotion. Pharaohs from Seti I to Ramses the Great poured their wealth and ingenuity into its construction, each adding their own mark to this sacred ground. But what compelled them to create such a marvel? Was it pure faith, a desire for divine favor, or a quest to etch their names into the annals of time? As we explore Karnak, these questions will linger, teasing us toward answers buried in stone. The Avenue of Sphinxes, a path to the divine. Our journey begins at the threshold of Karnak, where a grand processional way greets us, the Avenue of Sphinxes. Imagine walking beneath the gaze of these mythical guardians, their lion bodies and human faces carved from stone, stretching nearly 2 miles from Karnak to the Temple of Luxor. This was no ordinary road. It was a sacred path, trodden by priests and pilgrims during the annual Opet festival, when the statues of Amun, his wife Mut, and their son Ka-ons were carried in golden boats to renew the pharaoh's divine power. The air would have buzzed with the clatter of sistra, the scent of myrrh wafting from censers, and the chants of the faithful rising to the heavens. As you pass these silent sentinels, the first pylon of Karnak looms ahead, a massive gateway, its weathered stones whispering tales of the pharaohs who built it. Step through, and you enter a world where the mortal and divine collide, a place so vast it could swallow entire villages. Spanning over 200 acres, Karnak is the largest religious complex ever constructed, a labyrinth of courtyards, chapels, and towering obelisks that defy the imagination. But it's not just its size that captivates. It's the stories etched into every block, waiting to be uncovered. The great hypostyle hall, a forest of stone. Beyond the pylon lies the crown jewel of Karnak, the great hypostyle hall. Close your eyes and picture this. 134 colossal columns rise like a forest of petrified giants, each one 70 feet tall and wide enough for 50 men to stand shoulder to shoulder atop it. The roof, long since vanished, once cast dappled shadows over a floor alive with priests and offerings. Sunlight filters through the clear-story windows, painting the sandstone in hues of gold and amber, while hieroglyphs dance across the columns, tales of victories, prayers to Amun, and the names of kings now dust. This hall wasn't just architecture, it was a statement. Built by Seti I and completed by his son, Ramses II, it symbolized Egypt's might and its unbreakable bond with the gods. Stand here, and you can almost hear the rustle of linen robes, the clink of golden vessels, and the low murmur of sacred rites. But look closer. Some columns bear faint scars, marks of floods or invaders, hinting at a history not fully told. What secrets did this hall witness in its prime? What voices linger in its shadows? The Sacred Lake, Reflections of the Cosmos. As we wander deeper, the air grows cooler, and a shimmering expanse comes into view, the Sacred Lake. This man-made marvel, fed by underground channels from the Nile, was more than a water source. Priests bathed here to purify themselves before rituals, their reflections mingling with the stars above. The lake mirrored the cosmos, a bridge between earth and sky, and its still waters were said to hold divine power. Even today, its edges are lined with ancient stone, worn smooth by time, as if guarding mysteries yet to be revealed. Legend whispers of treasures sunk beneath its depths, offerings to Amun, lost to the ages. Did priests toss gold and jewels into its embrace, or are these tales mere echoes of a romantic past? The lake keeps its silence, but its presence adds a layer of intrigue to Karnak's story, pulling us further into its web. A temple built by many hands. Karnak wasn't the work of a single visionary. It grew like a living thing, shaped by generations of pharaohs, each eager to outdo their predecessors. Amenhotep III raised obelisks that pierced the sky, their tips once clad in gleaming electrum. Hatshepsut, the female pharaoh, left her own obelisk, a bold claim to power in a man's world. And Thutmose III, the warrior king, expanded the precincts, his victories carved into the walls. Every stone tells a story of ambition, rivalry, and devotion, a tapestry of human will woven across centuries. Yet for all its grandeur, Karnak holds unanswered questions. Why did some pharaohs erase the names of those who came before? What rituals unfolded in its hidden chambers, shielded from all but the highest priests? And what of the workers, thousands of laborers, artists, and scribes, whose sweat and skill built this wonder? Their voices are faint, but their legacy endures. A glimpse of mysteries to come. As the sun dips below the horizon, casting long shadows across Karnak's stones, we pause our tale here. We've walked the avenue of sphinxes, stood beneath the hypostyle hall's giants, and gazed into the sacred lake's depths. But this is only the beginning. What lies beyond the next pylon? What forgotten rites and buried secrets await us? In the next chapter, we'll venture deeper into Karnak's sanctum, where the gods themselves were said to dwell, and where the line between myth and reality blurs. So, dear listener, let the echoes of ancient Egypt linger in your mind. Picture the temple standing proud against the desert sky, its mysteries calling you back. Until we meet again, may your dreams be filled with the wonders of the past and the promise of stories yet untold. Angkor Wat Temple. Dawn breaks over the Cambodian jungle, casting a golden glow on the ancient stones of Angkor Wat. The air is thick with the scent of tropical flowers and the distant hum of cicadas. This is a place where time stands still, where the past whispers secrets to those who dare to listen. The vision of a god king. Our story resumes in the 12th century during the reign of King Suryavarman II, a ruler whose ambition knew no bounds. He was not just a king, but a Devaraja, a god king believed to be an earthly incarnation of the Hindu god Vishnu. It was this divine connection that inspired him to commission Angkor Wat, a temple that would serve as both his spiritual sanctuary and his eternal resting place. But why build such a colossal monument? Was it a declaration of his power, a plea for divine favor, or a bid for immortality? The answer, like the temple itself, is layered in mystery. Construction began around 1113 AD, and for over 3 decades, thousands of laborers, artisans, and architects toiled under the relentless sun. They quarried sandstone from distant mountains, transported it via canals, and carved it into intricate shapes. The result was a masterpiece of Khmer architecture, a temple mountain, its 5 lotus-shaped towers rising like a cosmic mandala, symbolizing the mythical Mount Meru, home of the gods. But Angkor Wat was more than a temple. It was a microcosm of the universe, its layout a reflection of Hindu cosmology. The central tower represented the divine axis, while the surrounding moat mirrored the cosmic ocean. Every stone, every carving was imbued with meaning, a silent prayer etched into the fabric of time, a canvas of myth and legend. As you wander through Angkor Wat's corridors, the walls come alive with stories. Over 3,000 feet of bas reliefs stretch across the temple, depicting scenes from Hindu epics like the Ramayana and Mahabharata. Here, the gods wage war against demons, their chariots thundering across the stone. There, the ocean is churned by deities and asuras, a cosmic tug of war for the elixir of immortality. These carvings are not mere decorations. They are a visual scripture, a testament to the beliefs that shaped a civilization. But look closer, and you'll see more than myth. The reliefs also capture moments of everyday life. Farmers tending fields, dancers swaying to unheard music, and kings holding court. It's as if the temple sought to immortalize not just the divine, but the human experience itself. Yet some carvings remain a puzzle. Strange figures with elongated limbs, scenes that defy interpretation. Were these artistic flourishes, or do they hold secrets yet to be unlocked? The temple's silence invites speculation, daring us to decipher its code. From Vishnu to Buddha, a temple transformed. Angkor Wat was born as a Hindu sanctuary, but its story took a turn in the 14th century when the Khmer Empire embraced Buddhism. The temple, once dedicated to Vishnu, became a shrine to the Buddha. Statues of the Enlightened One were placed in its halls, their serene faces gazing out from beneath the ancient stone. This transformation mirrored the shifting tides of faith in Cambodia, a land where religions blended and evolved like the waters of the Mekong. But how did this change come about? Was it a peaceful transition, or did it reflect deeper turmoil within the empire? The temple itself offers few clues. Its stones mute witnesses to a spiritual metamorphosis. Yet the fusion of Hindu and Buddhist elements created a unique sacred space, one that continues to draw pilgrims and seekers from around the world. Today, monks in saffron robes walk the same paths as ancient priests, their chants a bridge across centuries, echoes of a forgotten empire. Angkor Wat's grandeur is undeniable, but its history is not without shadows. By the 15th century, the Khmer Empire had begun to wane, its capital abandoned to the encroaching jungle. The temple, once the heart of a thriving civilization, fell silent, its halls reclaimed by nature. For centuries, it lay hidden, its towers peaking above the canopy, a ghostly reminder of a lost world. It wasn't until the 19th century that Western explorers stumbled upon its ruins, their eyes wide with wonder. French naturalist Henri Mouhot famously wrote, "One of these temples, a rival to that of Solomon and erected by some ancient Michelangelo, might take an honorable place beside our most beautiful buildings." But rediscovery brought new challenges. Looters stripped the temple of its treasures, while time and weather wore at its stones. Conservation efforts began, but the question remains, can we preserve Angkor Wat's magic without losing its soul? A symbol of resilience. Today, Angkor Wat stands not just as a relic of the past, but as a symbol of Cambodia's enduring spirit. It has weathered invasions, revolutions, and the ravages of time, yet its beauty remains undimmed. The temple's image adorns the national flag, a proud emblem of a nation reborn from the ashes of conflict. Each year, millions of visitors flock to its gates, drawn by its mystique and majesty. But Angkor Wat is more than a tourist attraction. It is a living temple, a place where the sacred and the secular intertwine. Monks still pray within its walls, their incense mingling with the scent of ancient stone. As the sun rises over its towers, casting a golden glow on the weathered carvings, one can't help but feel a connection to the divine, a whisper of the gods who once dwelled here, a journey unfinished. Our exploration of Angkor Wat is far from over. In the next chapter, we'll venture into its hidden chambers, where the air is thick with secrets and the walls tell tales of love, war, and betrayal. What lies behind the locked doors of the inner sanctum? What forgotten rituals were performed in the temple's heart? And how did this monument to the gods become a beacon for humanity? For now, let the image of Angkor Wat linger in your mind, its towers silhouetted against the dawn, its stones a testament to the dreams of a civilization long gone. The temple's story is one of faith, artistry, and resilience, a reminder that even in the face of time's relentless march, beauty endures. The Parthenon, the crown jewel of ancient Athens. Imagine standing on a rocky hill, the warm Mediterranean sun casting golden rays over a city alive with the hum of philosophy, art, and democracy. This is Athens in the 5th century BCE during its golden age, a time when ideas flourished and the world witnessed the birth of Western civilization. At the heart of this vibrant city stands the Parthenon, a temple so magnificent it seems to have been crafted by the gods themselves. Dedicated to Athena, the goddess of wisdom and war, the Parthenon is more than a religious sanctuary. It is a symbol of Athenian power, a masterpiece of architecture, and a testament to human ingenuity. But how did this iconic structure come to be? And what stories lie hidden within its marble columns? A vision born of victory. Our tale begins in 490 BCE, when the Athenians, against all odds, defeated the mighty Persian Empire at the Battle of Marathon. This victory was not just a military triumph, it was a spark that ignited a cultural renaissance. Under the leadership of Pericles, a statesman of unmatched vision, Athens embarked on a bold project to rebuild its Acropolis, the sacred hill that housed its most important temples. The centerpiece of this endeavor would be the Parthenon, a temple dedicated to Athena Parthenos, the city's patron goddess. Pericles envisioned the Parthenon as a symbol of Athens' glory and a beacon of democracy. He spared no expense, commissioning the finest architects, sculptors, and craftsmen of the age. The temple was to be a marvel of design, a structure that would stand for eternity. But why was this temple so important to the Athenians? Was it merely a tribute to their goddess, or did it represent something deeper, a declaration of their place in the world? The architects of perfection. The task of bringing Pericles' vision to life fell to two brilliant architects, Ictinus and Callicrates. They faced a challenge unlike any other, to create a temple that was not only grand, but also harmonious, a structure that embodied the ideals of balance and beauty. The Parthenon was designed in the Doric style, characterized by its sturdy columns and simple elegance. Yet within this simplicity lay a series of optical illusions, subtle refinements that made the temple appear perfectly symmetrical. For instance, the columns were slightly thicker in the middle to counteract the visual effect of thinning when viewed from below. The platform on which the temple stood was gently curved, creating the illusion of a flat surface. These architectural tricks were the work of genius, ensuring that the Parthenon was not just a building, but a masterpiece of perception. As you walk among its ruins today, you can still feel the precision of its design, a testament to the skill of its creators. A canvas for the divine. The Parthenon was not merely a structure, it was a canvas for some of the greatest artists of the ancient world. Under the direction of the sculptor Phidias, the temple was adorned with intricate friezes, metopes, and pediments that told the stories of gods and heroes. The most famous of these was the statue of Athena Parthenos, a colossal figure of the goddess made of gold and ivory, standing over 40 feet tall. Her shield bore scenes of battle, her helmet was adorned with mythical creatures, and in her hand she held a 6-foot statue of Nike, the goddess of victory. But the Parthenon's sculptures were more than decoration. They were a celebration of Athenian identity. The frieze that encircled the temple depicted the Panathenaic procession, a festival in honor of Athena, where citizens from all walks of life, warriors, musicians, and maidens, came together in unity. This was a bold statement. In a world of gods and kings, the Parthenon celebrated the people of Athens. Yet not all was as it seemed. Some scholars argue that the sculptures also contained subtle political messages, reminders of Athens' dominance over its rivals. What hidden meanings lie within these ancient stones? The answer may be lost to time, but the mystery endures. The Elgin marbles, a legacy divided. The Parthenon's beauty was not destined to remain untouched. In the early 19th century, Lord Elgin, a British diplomat, controversially removed many of the temple's sculptures and transported them to England. These pieces, now known as the Elgin marbles, have been housed in the British Museum ever since, sparking a heated debate that continues to this day. Greece has long sought the return of the marbles, arguing that they are an integral part of its cultural heritage. The British Museum, however, maintains that they are better preserved in London. This controversy raises profound questions. Who owns the treasures of the past? Are they the property of the nation where they were created, or do they belong to the world? The Parthenon's sculptures, scattered between Athens and London, stand as a poignant reminder of history's complexities, a legacy divided, much like the temple itself, a temple through the ages. The Parthenon's story did not end with the fall of ancient Greece. Over the centuries, it has been transformed, repurposed, and revered by different cultures. In the 6th century CE, it was converted into a Christian church dedicated to the Virgin Mary, its pagan statues removed or repurposed. Later, under Ottoman rule, it became a mosque, with a minaret rising from its sacred precinct. Each era left its mark, layering new meanings onto the old. But the Parthenon's darkest hour came in 1687 during a siege by Venetian forces. The Ottomans had stored gunpowder inside the temple, and a stray cannonball ignited it, causing a catastrophic explosion. The roof collapsed, columns shattered, and the heart of the Parthenon was torn asunder. The damage was immense, and the temple, once a symbol of perfection, became a ruin. Yet even in its broken state, it retained a haunting beauty, a monument to both human achievement and the ravages of time. Restoring the past. In the modern era, efforts to restore the Parthenon have been a labor of love and dedication. Since the 1970s, teams of archaeologists, architects, and conservators have worked tirelessly to preserve what remains. Using a combination of ancient fragments and modern materials, they have painstakingly rebuilt sections of the temple, striving to honor its original design. But restoration is a delicate dance. How much should be rebuilt, and how much should be left as a testament to history's scars? The Parthenon's ruins tell a story of resilience, a reminder that even the greatest creations are not immune to the passage of time, a symbol for the ages. Today, the Parthenon stands as a beacon of Western civilization, its silhouette iconic against the Athenian skyline. It has inspired countless architects, from the neoclassical buildings of Washington, D.C., to the grand museums of Europe. But beyond its architectural influence, the Parthenon embodies the ideals of democracy, philosophy, and the pursuit of knowledge, values that continue to shape our world. Yet as we gaze upon its weathered columns, we are left with questions. What would the ancient Athenians think of their temple today? Would they marvel at its endurance or mourn its lost splendor? And what of the gods who once dwelled within its walls? Do their spirits still linger in the marble, watching over a world that has changed beyond recognition? As the sun sets over the Acropolis, casting long shadows across the Parthenon stones, our journey through this sacred temple comes to a close. But its story is far from over. The Parthenon remains a living monument, a place where history, art, and mystery intertwine. It challenges us to reflect on the past, to honor the achievements of those who came before, and to consider the legacy we will leave for future generations. For in the end, the Parthenon is not just a temple, it is a mirror reflecting the best and worst of humanity, a timeless reminder of what we can achieve when we dare to dream. The Mahabodhi Temple. Imagine standing in the ancient city of Bodh Gaya, India, where the air hums with a quiet reverence that has lingered for over 2,000 years. Here, before us, rises the Mahabodhi Temple, its towering spire piercing the sky, a monument that marks the very spot where a prince became the Buddha. This isn't just a temple, it's a portal to one of history's most transformative moments. What secrets does it hold? What trials has it endured? Let's step closer and uncover the story etched into its stones, origins and history. The tale begins in the 6th century BCE with Siddhartha Gautama, a young prince who abandoned his palace for a life of searching. After years of wandering and meditation, he arrived in Bodh Gaya and sat beneath a fig tree, later called the Bodhi tree. For 6 days and nights, he meditated, wrestling with the mysteries of existence, until at last, enlightenment dawned. That moment birthed Buddhism, and this sacred ground became a beacon for seekers ever after. But the temple itself, that came later. Around 250 BCE, Emperor Ashoka, a warrior turned Buddhist, visited this hallowed site. Moved by its power, he built a modest shrine and planted a sapling from the original Bodhi tree, a living link to Buddha's awakening. Over time, that humble beginning grew. By the 5th or 6th century CE, during the Gupta Empire's golden age, the temple took its current form, a soaring structure of brick and stucco, adorned with carvings that whisper tales of devotion. History, though, wasn't always kind. As empires rose and fell, the temple faced neglect under Hindu and Muslim rulers. Invaders looted its treasures, and nature buried its foundations in silt, yet it survived. In the 19th century, British archaeologists dug it out of obscurity, revealing a relic of resilience. Kings, monks, and pilgrims from Sri Lanka to Burma poured in resources to restore it, ensuring its story would endure. How could a place so battered by time still stand so strong? The answer lies in its walls and in the faith that holds them up. Architecture. Picture this: a pyramid-like tower, nearly 180 feet tall, its edges softening as they climb toward a golden finial that catches the sun. This is the Mahabodhi Temple's Shikara, a Gupta masterpiece that seems to reach for the heavens. Around it, 4 smaller towers stand like sentinels, symbolizing Buddhism's 4 noble truths: suffering, its cause, its end, and the path to freedom. Step through the grand eastern gateway, and you're met with pillars carved with lotus flowers, elephants, and scenes from Buddha's life, each detail a brushstroke in a larger story. Inside, the sanctum glows with a golden statue of Buddha seated in the Bhumisparsha Mudra, his hand touching the earth to call it as witness to his enlightenment. The walls, though faded, still bear traces of frescoes, bodhisattvas in flowing robes, mythical beasts, and vines that seem to dance in the dim light. Outside, the real treasure awaits. The Bodhi tree, a direct descendant of the original, spreads its branches over a courtyard alive with pilgrims. Beside it sits the Vajrasana, the diamond throne, a simple stone slab marking where Buddha sat. Legend says this spot is the navel of the world, a place where the cosmos itself bends to listen. Surrounding it, a stone railing, weathered but intricate, guards the sacred space like a silent vow. Can you feel the weight of that history? The air here doesn't just carry sound, it carries time, cultural and religious significance. For Buddhists, the Mahabodhi Temple isn't just a destination, it's the destination. It's one of the 4 holy sites, alongside Lumbini, Sarnath, and Kushinagar, each tied to a chapter of Buddha's life. Here, under the Bodhi tree, enlightenment wasn't just a concept, it was a reality. Pilgrims from Tibet to Thailand flock to this spot, their robes a kaleidoscope of saffron, crimson, and gold. They circle the temple in silent pradakshina, beads clicking, voices murmuring sutras that echo through the ages. During Buddha Purnima, the temple transforms. Thousands gather to mark Buddha's birth, enlightenment and death, lighting lamps that flicker like stars against the night. Incense curls upward, blending with the scent of marigolds and the rustle of leaves. Monks from distant monasteries lead chants, their deep tones weaving a tapestry of peace that wraps around every soul present. It's not just a ritual, it's a homecoming. Beyond Buddhism, the temple's reach is vast. Its design inspired architecture across Asia. Think of the stupas in Sri Lanka or the pagodas of Myanmar. Scholars and artists study its carvings, while mystics seek its stillness. Why does this one place draw so many? Perhaps because it's more than stone and mortar. It's a mirror reflecting humanity's deepest questions and highest hopes. Modern-day relevance. Today, the Mahabodhi Temple stands as a bridge between past and present. In 2002, UNESCO crowned it a World Heritage Site, honoring its gift to humankind. Restoration has kept it alive, crumbling bricks replaced, ancient art preserved, all while monks and caretakers ensure it remains a place of worship, not just a museum. Walk its grounds, and you'll hear languages from every corner of the globe, see hands pressed in prayer, and feel the pulse of a living tradition. But the modern world brings challenges. Tourists swarm its paths, their cameras flashing, while pollution gnaws at its stones. Political disputes over management have sparked tension, and the Bodhi tree itself faces threats from climate change. Yet the temple adapts. Conservationists guard its legacy, and pilgrims keep its spirit burning. In 2013, a series of small bomb blasts rocked the complex, a stark reminder of its vulnerability. But within days, devotees returned undeterred. What is it about this place that defies every storm? As the sun dips below the horizon, painting the Shikara in hues of amber and rose, the Mahabodhi Temple reveals its truest self. It's not frozen in history. It breathes with every chant, every step, every whispered wish. This is a place where a prince found answers, where empires left their mark, and where millions still seek something greater. Its story doesn't end here. It stretches forward, inviting us to ponder our own paths, to listen to the silence, and to wonder what enlightenment might mean for us all. The Great Pyramid of Giza, the last wonder standing. In the vast expanse of the Egyptian desert, where the sun scorches the earth and the sands whisper tales of eternity, there stands a monument that has defied time itself. The Great Pyramid of Giza, a marvel of ancient engineering, rises from the horizon like a mountain of stone, its peak once gilded in gold, now weathered but unyielding. For over 4,500 years, it has stood as a testament to human ambition, ingenuity, and the quest for immortality. But what secrets lie within its silent chambers? What mysteries does it guard beneath its limestone skin? Join us as we delve into the heart of this ancient wonder, a structure so grand it was once believed to be the work of gods, a pharaoh's dream of eternity. Our story begins in the 26th century BCE, during the reign of Pharaoh Khufu, a ruler whose name would become synonymous with the pyramid that bears his legacy. Khufu, known to the Greeks as Cheops, was a king of the 4th dynasty, a time when Egypt was at the height of its power and prosperity. The pyramids were not mere tombs, they were gateways to the afterlife, designed to ensure the pharaoh's eternal journey among the stars. Khufu's vision was unparalleled. He sought to build a pyramid that would surpass all others, a monument that would stand as a beacon of his divine right to rule. The site chosen was the Giza Plateau, a sacred landscape where the boundaries between earth and sky blurred. But how did the ancient Egyptians, with their limited tools, manage to construct such a colossal structure? The answer lies in a combination of sheer manpower, advanced mathematics, and an unwavering belief in the divine. The builders of legend. The construction of the Great Pyramid is a feat that still baffles modern engineers. Over 2.3 million limestone blocks, each weighing between 2 and 15 tons, were quarried, transported, and meticulously placed to form a perfect pyramid shape. The workforce, contrary to popular myth, was not composed of slaves, but of skilled laborers, craftsmen, and seasonal workers who toiled under the watchful eyes of architects and priests. The pyramid's design was a marvel of precision. Its base covers 13 acres, and its sides are aligned almost perfectly with the cardinal points of the compass. The ancient Egyptians used the stars to guide their measurements, ensuring that the pyramid's apex pointed toward the heavens, where the pharaoh would ascend to join the gods. But how did they achieve such accuracy without modern tools? Some theories suggest the use of simple yet ingenious devices like plumb bobs and sighting rods, while others whisper of lost knowledge, a secret science passed down through generations. A labyrinth of chambers and passages. Step inside the Great Pyramid, and you enter a world of shadows and echoes. A narrow corridor leads deep into its core, branching into a series of chambers and passages that have puzzled explorers for centuries. The most famous of these is the Grand Gallery, a soaring vaulted hall that rises 28 feet high, its walls lined with polished limestone that once gleamed like mirrors. What was the purpose of this majestic space? Was it a ceremonial hall, a path for the pharaoh's soul, or something more enigmatic? At the heart of the pyramid lies the king's chamber, a room of stark simplicity. Built entirely of red granite, it houses a massive sarcophagus believed to have once held Khufu's mummified remains. Yet when the pyramid was first opened in antiquity, the chamber was empty, its treasures long since vanished. Above the king's chamber, a series of relieving chambers distribute the weight of the stone, a testament to the architect's understanding of structural integrity. But the pyramid holds more secrets. In recent years, advanced technology has revealed hidden voids and chambers within its walls. Using cosmic ray imaging, scientists have detected a large, previously unknown space above the Grand Gallery. What lies within this hidden chamber? Could it hold the key to understanding the pyramid's true purpose? The mystery deepens, inviting us to peer further into its shadows. Theories of purpose and power. The Great Pyramid's purpose has been a subject of debate for millennia. The traditional view holds that it was built as a tomb for Pharaoh Khufu, a monumental resting place to ensure his safe passage to the afterlife. Yet some scholars argue that its design and alignment suggest a greater function. The pyramid's shafts, for instance, are aligned with specific stars, leading to theories that it served as an astronomical observatory or a cosmic map. Others propose that the pyramid was a center of initiation, a place where priests and pharaohs underwent spiritual transformations. The king's chamber, with its precise dimensions, has been said to resonate with specific frequencies, creating an otherworldly atmosphere. Could the pyramid have been a machine of sorts, harnessing energies we have yet to understand? While these ideas remain speculative, they add to the pyramid's allure, a riddle wrapped in stone. The pyramid's enduring legacy. For over 3,800 years, the Great Pyramid was the tallest man made structure in the world, a record unbroken until the construction of the Eiffel Tower in 1889. Its influence is undeniable, inspiring countless imitations, from the pyramids of Sudan to the glass towers of modern cities. But its true legacy lies not in its size, but in its mystery. The pyramid has captivated explorers, scholars, and dreamers alike, each seeking to unlock its secrets. In the ninth century, Caliph al-Mamun ordered a tunnel to be dug into the pyramid, hoping to find a treasure. Instead, he found only empty chambers, their contents long since plundered. Napoleon, during his Egyptian campaign, was said to have spent a night alone in the king's chamber, emerging pale and shaken, refusing to speak of what he experienced. Even today, the pyramid draws millions of visitors, each hoping to catch a glimpse of its ancient magic, a monument to human ambition. As we stand before the Great Pyramid, its shadow stretching across the sands, we are reminded of the boundless potential of human endeavor. This is not just a tomb or a temple, it is a symbol of what we can achieve when we dare to dream beyond the limits of our time. The pyramid's construction, its alignment, its very existence, all speak to a civilization that looked to the stars and sought to touch them. Yet for all its grandeur, the pyramid remains a mystery. Its true purpose, its hidden chambers, and the methods of its creation continue to elude us. Perhaps that is its greatest gift, a reminder that some questions are meant to linger, inviting us to wonder, to explore, and to marvel at the ingenuity of those who came before. As the sun sets over Giza, casting a golden glow on the pyramid's weathered face, we are left with a sense of awe and curiosity. What other secrets lie buried beneath the sands? What stories does the pyramid still hold, waiting to be uncovered? The Great Pyramid of Giza is not just a monument to the past, it is a beacon for the future, challenging us to keep seeking, to keep dreaming, and to keep reaching for the stars. Hagia Sophia, the Temple of Divine Wisdom. In the heart of Istanbul, where the echoes of empires past still resonate through the bustling streets, stands a monument that has witnessed the rise and fall of civilizations. The Hagia Sophia, a structure so magnificent it seems to have been crafted by the hands of angels, is more than just a building. It is a testament to human ambition, faith, and the enduring power of art. This is the story of a temple that has served as a church, a mosque, and a museum, a place where history, religion, and culture intertwine in a dance as old as time. But what secrets does this ancient edifice hold? What stories lie hidden beneath its soaring dome and glittering mosaics? Join us as we journey through the ages to uncover the mysteries of the Hagia Sophia, a vision born of empire. Our tale begins in the 6th century CE, during the reign of Emperor Justinian I, a ruler whose ambition was matched only by his devotion to the Christian faith. Constantinople, the glittering capital of the Byzantine Empire, was a city of unparalleled splendor, and Justinian sought to leave his mark on it with a church that would surpass all others. The Hagia Sophia, or Holy Wisdom, was to be a symbol of divine glory, a place where heaven and earth could meet. Construction began in 532 CE, and the project was nothing short of a marvel. Justinian spared no expense, commissioning the finest architects, engineers, and artisans of the age. The church was completed in just 5 years, a feat that astonished even the most seasoned builders. When the doors opened in 537 CE, the world beheld a structure unlike any other. A vast open space crowned by a dome so immense it seemed to float above the worshippers below. But how did they achieve such a feat? The answer lies in a revolutionary design that combined the grandeur of Roman engineering with the elegance of Byzantine art. The dome that touched the sky. The Hagia Sophia's dome is perhaps its most iconic feature, a masterpiece of architecture that has inspired awe for centuries. Rising 180 feet above the floor, the dome appears to hover, supported by a series of pendentives, triangular sections that gracefully transfer the weight to the piers below. This innovation allowed for a vast, uninterrupted space, creating an ethereal atmosphere where light and shadow play in harmony. Inside, the dome is adorned with golden mosaics that shimmer in the sunlight, depicting Christ Pantocrator, the ruler of the universe, surrounded by angels and saints. The walls are a tapestry of marble and stone, their colors shifting from deep reds to soft greens, as if the very earth had been woven into the fabric of the church. The Hagia Sophia was not just a place of worship, it was a statement of power, a declaration that the Byzantine Empire was the heir to Rome's greatness, a stage for emperors and saints. For nearly 1,000 years, the Hagia Sophia served as the spiritual heart of the Byzantine Empire. It was here that emperors were crowned, their heads anointed with oil as the chants of the clergy filled the air. The church was a place of pilgrimage, drawing the faithful from across the Christian world to witness its sacred relics and participate in its lavish ceremonies. One such ceremony was the Divine Liturgy, a ritual so grand it was said to rival the courts of heaven. The air would be thick with incense, the flickering light of candles casting shadows on the golden icons. The voices of the choir would rise and fall, their hymns a bridge between the mortal and the divine. But the Hagia Sophia was also a place of intrigue, where political plots were hatched and alliances forged in the shadow of its sacred halls. The fall of Constantinople. The year 1453 marked a turning point in the Hagia Sophia's history. The Byzantine Empire, weakened by centuries of conflict, fell to the Ottoman Turks under Sultan Mehmed II. As the city of Constantinople was sacked, the Hagia Sophia was transformed from a church into a mosque, its Christian symbols veiled beneath layers of plaster and paint. Yet the Ottomans did not destroy the Hagia Sophia. Instead, they adapted it to their own faith. Minarets were added to its corners, their slender forms rising like sentinels against the sky. The mosaics were covered, but not obliterated, their beauty preserved beneath a thin veneer. The Hagia Sophia became a symbol of Islamic triumph, a place where the call to prayer echoed through its ancient halls, a museum for the world. In 1935, the Hagia Sophia underwent yet another transformation. Mustafa Kemal Ataturk, the founder of modern Turkey, decreed that the building should become a museum, a neutral space where its Christian and Islamic heritage could be celebrated side by side. The plaster was removed, revealing the mosaics that had lain hidden for centuries. The Hagia Sophia was now a place of learning, a testament to the shared history of two great faiths. Today, the Hagia Sophia is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, drawing millions of visitors. Each year, however, in 2020, it was reconverted into a mosque again. Its walls tell the story of a city that has been a crossroads of cultures for millennia, a place where East meets West in a delicate balance. But the Hagia Sophia's status remains a topic of debate. In recent years, calls to restore it as a mosque have grown louder, sparking controversy and raising questions about its future. Echoes of the past. As we stand beneath the Hagia Sophia's dome, gazing up at the golden mosaics that have watched over centuries of worshippers, we are reminded of the building's enduring legacy. It is a place where history is not just remembered, but felt appraised of its beauty. We are left with questions. What does the future hold for this sacred space? Will it remain a museum, a bridge between cultures, or will it once again become a place of worship? The Hagia Sophia's story is far from over, and its next chapter waits to be written. Baalbek Temple, Whispers of the Divine. In the heart of Lebanon's Bekaa Valley, where the sun casts long shadows over ancient stones, the Baalbek Temple stands as a silent sentinel of history. Its towering columns pierce the sky, and its massive foundations seem to anchor the earth itself. This is a place where the gods once walked, or so the ancients believed. A place where empires clashed, faiths intertwined, and mysteries were carved into stone. Let us step back through the centuries, into the dust and glory of Baalbek, to uncover the stories etched into its ruins. The dawn of a sacred valley. Long before the Romans dreamed of their grand temples, the valley of Baalbek hummed with life and reverence. The Phoenicians, masters of trade and seafaring, called this land home as early as 3000 BCE. They saw in its fertile plains and towering hills a divine gift, a place to honor Baal, their god of storms and fertility. The name Baalbek, Lord of the Bekaa, whispers of this ancient devotion. Archaeologists believe the first sanctuary rose here, a modest structure of stone and earth, its altars stained with offerings to the heavens. But the Phoenicians were not alone in their worship. As empires shifted and borders blurred, the site drew new voices. The Greeks arrived, renaming the city Heliopolis, the city of the sun, and linking it to their own sun god, Helios. Yet it was the Romans, with their boundless ambition, who would transform Baalbek into a marvel of the ancient world. In the 1st century BCE, under the reign of Augustus, they began a project that would defy time itself, a temple complex to rival the wonders of Rome, the Triad of Power. The Romans envisioned Baalbek as a sacred nexus, a place where their gods could reign over the eastern frontier. They dedicated the complex to 3 deities: Jupiter, king of the gods, Venus, goddess of love, and Bacchus, the wild spirit of wine and revelry. Each received a temple, but it was the temple of Jupiter that stole the breath of all who saw it. Imagine standing at its base, craning your neck to see the tops of its columns, 62 feet of polished granite, each carved from a single block and hoisted into place with precision that defies explanation. 54 of these giants once encircled the sanctuary, their shadows dancing across a podium so vast it seemed to hold up the sky. Today, only 6 remain, their surfaces scarred by earthquakes and time, but their presence still commands silence. The temple was more than a monument. It was a stage for the divine. Priests in flowing robes led processions up its grand staircase, their chants rising with the smoke of burning incense. Pilgrims from across the empire knelt before altars, offering gold and prayers to Jupiter's unyielding gaze. But beneath the pomp, a question lingered. How had the Romans built such a colossus? The stones of the foundation, some weighing over 1,000 tons, hinted at secrets lost to history. The enigma of the stones. To understand Baalbek's mystique, we must turn to its quarries, where the earth itself tells a tale of ambition. A short walk from the temple lies the stone of the pregnant woman, a monolith so massive it defies belief. At 69 feet long and weighing an estimated 1,200 tons, it dwarfs anything the Romans ever raised. Local legend claims that women who touched it would bear healthy children, but its true purpose remains a riddle. Was it meant for the Temple of Jupiter, or was it part of a grander vision, abandoned before it could be realized? Nearby, an even larger stone, discovered only in recent decades, hints at plans beyond imagination. Weighing nearly 1,650 tons, it lies half buried, its edges still sharp from the chisels of forgotten hands. How did the Romans quarry these giants? How did they plan to move them? Some say they used rollers and ramps. Others whisper of lost techniques, perhaps even the aid of the gods themselves. The stones are not just relics, they are a challenge to our understanding. Engineers today marvel at their size, calculating the forces required to shift them. Yet the answers elude us, buried in the dust of a quarry that has kept its secrets for 2 millennia. The Temple of Bacchus, a hidden jewel. Beyond the grandeur of Jupiter's domain lies the Temple of Bacchus, a sanctuary of elegance and excess. Smaller than its neighbor, it is no less breathtaking. Its columns, adorned with carvings of vines and mythical beasts, seem to sway as if caught in a reveler's dance. Step inside, and the air grows still, the walls whispering of a time when Bacchus's laughter filled the halls. This temple is a survivor. While Jupiter's sanctuary crumbled under the weight of time, Bacchus's stands nearly intact, its details preserved like a snapshot of Rome's golden age. The entrance, framed by towering statues, once welcomed priests and worshippers alike. Inside, a raised cella held the god's image, surrounded by offerings of wine and flowers. Can you hear it? The clink of goblets, the murmur of voices, the distant strum of a lyre? But Bacchus's temple has seen darker days. When the Roman Empire faded, the Byzantines claimed it, stripping its pagan symbols and consecrating it as a church. Later, during the Crusades, its walls bristled with defenses, a fortress against the chaos of war. Each era left its mark, layering history upon history until the temple became a palimpsest of human striving, a stage for empires. Baalbek's story is one of transformation. After Rome's fall, the temple complex did not fade into obscurity. The Arabs arrived in the 7th century, their armies sweeping through the valley. They marveled at the ruins, adapting them to their own needs. Mosques rose among the stones, their minarets echoing the columns' grace. Then came the Crusaders, who saw in Baalbek a stronghold to defend their faith. They fortified the walls, their banners fluttering above Jupiter's podium. The Ottomans too left their imprint, turning the site into a garrison and a symbol of their dominion. But as empires rose and fell, the temple began to crumble. Earthquakes shook its foundations, toppling columns and splitting stones. By the 18th century, it was a shadow of its former self, a ruin half buried in the earth. Yet its allure endured, drawing travelers and scholars who saw in its decay a haunting beauty. Echoes of the present. Today, Baalbek is a treasure of humanity, its stones inscribed on UNESCO's list of World Heritage Sites. Tourists wander its paths, their footsteps tracing the routes of ancient pilgrims. Preservationists work tirelessly to shore up its walls, battling the wear of centuries and the scars of modern conflict. The valley has seen war, its echoes still linger, but the temple stands defiant, a testament to resilience. What would it have been like to stand here in its prime? Picture the air thick with the scent of myrrh, the clamor of merchants and priests, the glint of sunlight on gilded statues. Imagine the awe of a traveler from distant lands, gazing up at columns that seem to touch the stars. That wonder lives on, in every crack and crevice of Baalbek's stones. As we linger among the ruins, questions swirl like the wind through the valley. What drove the Romans to build on such a scale? What stories did the Phoenicians whisper to their gods? And what lies beneath the earth, waiting to be unearthed? Baalbek is not a monument frozen in time. It is a living mystery, its past stretching toward us, daring us to listen. Borobudur Temple, the Mountain of Enlightenment. Imagine standing in the heart of Java, Indonesia, where the air is thick with the scent of tropical blooms and the distant hum of cicadas fills the misty morning. Here, rising from the lush emerald landscape like a stone lotus, stands Borobudur Temple, a monument so vast and intricate it seems to have been crafted by the hands of giants. This is not just a temple, it is a journey carved in stone, a path to enlightenment that has stood for over 1,000 years. But what secrets does this ancient wonder hold? What stories lie hidden in its countless carvings and stupas? Let us ascend its steps and uncover the mysteries of Borobudur, a temple that whispers the wisdom of the ages. A vision from the Sailendra dynasty. Our tale begins in the 9th century, during the reign of the Sailendra dynasty, a time when Java was a crossroads of trade, culture, and faith. The Sailendras were devout Buddhists, and their devotion inspired them to create a monument that would embody the teachings of the Buddha and the path to enlightenment. Borobudur was not merely a place of worship, it was a physical manifestation of Buddhist cosmology, a three-dimensional mandala guiding pilgrims from the realm of desire to the heights of spiritual awakening. The temple's construction was a monumental undertaking, requiring the labor of thousands and the visions of master architects. Built from over 2 million blocks of volcanic stone, Borobudur is a masterpiece of design, its 9 stacked platforms rising like a pyramid toward the heavens. At its peak sits a central dome, surrounded by 72 stupas, each housing a statue of the Buddha. But why was it built here, in the shadow of Mount Merapi, an active volcano? Some say the temple was designed to harmonize with the surrounding landscape, its form mirroring the sacred mountain itself. Others whisper of ley lines and cosmic alignments, a convergence of energies that made this spot uniquely powerful. A journey through stone. To walk through Borobudur is to embark on a pilgrimage, a symbolic ascent from the earthly to the divine. The temple is divided into 3 levels, each representing a stage in the Buddhist path to enlightenment. The base, known as Kamadhatu, depicts the world of desire, where humans are bound by earthly passions. Here, the walls are adorned with over 1,400 relief panels, their carvings so detailed they seem to breathe with life. Scenes of everyday existence, farmers tilling fields, dancers swaying to unheard music, and lovers entwined, mingle with tales of karma and consequence. These are not mere decorations, they are lessons in stone, reminders of the suffering that comes from attachment. As we climb to the middle level, Rupadhatu, the carvings shift. Here, the panels tell the stories of the Buddha's past lives, the Jataka tales, where compassion and sacrifice light the way. The air grows quieter, the hustle of the world below fading as we rise. Finally, we reach the top level, Arupadhatu, the realm of formlessness. Here, the square terraces give way to circular platforms, and the intricate carvings vanish, replaced by 72 perforated stupas, each containing a serene Buddha statue. At the center stands the main stupa, a solid, unadorned dome symbolizing nirvana, the ultimate release from the cycle of rebirth. But what lies within this stupa? Some say it is empty, a reflection of the Buddhist concept of emptiness. Others believe it holds a relic of the Buddha himself, a secret guarded for centuries. The temple's hidden stories. Borobudur is not just a monument, it is a library of stone. Its walls a canvas for over 2,600 relief panels that stretch for miles. These carvings are a treasure trove of history, capturing not only religious teachings, but also glimpses of life in ancient Java. Look closely, and you'll see musicians playing instruments lost to time, ships sailing seas long since forgotten, and animals that once roamed the island's forests. It's as if the temple sought to preserve a world on the brink of change, a snapshot of a civilization at its zenith. But not all of Borobudur's stories are visible. In the 19th century, when the temple was rediscovered after centuries of abandonment, restorers uncovered a hidden layer of reliefs at the base, covered by stone casing. These panels, known as the Karma Vibhanga, depict scenes of human folly, greed, violence, and indulgence, reminders of the consequences of straying from the path. Why were they concealed? Were they too graphic for public view? Or did they serve as a foundation, both literal and metaphorical, for the temple's teachings? The mystery endures, inviting us to ponder the temple's deeper truths. The temple's decline and rediscovery. For centuries, Borobudur stood as a beacon of faith, drawing pilgrims from across Asia. But by the 14th century, the temple began to fade from memory. The rise of Islamic kingdoms in Java shifted the island's religious landscape, and Borobudur was abandoned, left to the mercy of the elements. Volcanic ash from nearby Mount Merapi blanketed its stones, and the jungle crept in, its vines and roots entwining the temple in a green embrace. For over 500 years, Borobudur slumbered, its existence reduced to whispers and legends. It wasn't until 1814 that the temple was rediscovered by Sir Thomas Stamford Raffles, the British governor of Java. Enchanted by its beauty, Raffles ordered the site to be cleared, revealing a wonder that had been lost to the world. But the temple's rebirth was not without peril. Looters plundered its statues, and neglect threatened its survival. It was only in the 20th century, with the help of UNESCO and international teams, that Borobudur was restored to its former glory. Today, it stands as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, a testament to human resilience and the enduring power of faith. A living legacy. Borobudur is not a relic of the past. It is a living temple, a place where the sacred and the secular intertwine. Each year, during the festival of Vesak, thousands of Buddhists gather to celebrate the birth, enlightenment, and death of the Buddha. Monks in saffron robes lead processions around the temple, their chants rising with the smoke of incense. Lanterns float into the night sky, their glow a prayer for peace and wisdom. But Borobudur's influence extends beyond religion. Its design has inspired architects and artists around the world. Its mandala form a symbol of harmony and balance. Scholars study its carvings, piecing together the history of a civilization that thrived a millennium ago. And for the people of Java, the temple is a source of pride, a reminder of their island's rich cultural heritage. As we stand at the summit of Borobudur, gazing out over the mist-shrouded hills, we are left with a sense of wonder and reverence. This is a place where the past and present converge, where stone and spirit speak in unison. The temple's journey, from its creation to its abandonment, from rediscovery to restoration, mirrors the Buddhist path itself, a cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. And as the sun sets, casting a golden glow on the stupas, we are reminded that enlightenment is not a destination, but a journey, one that invites us to keep seeking, to keep climbing, and to keep dreaming. Itsukushima Shrine, the floating gate to the divine. Imagine standing on the shores of Miyajima Island, a place where the boundary between the earthly and the divine seems to blur. The gentle waves lap against the sand, their rhythm almost hypnotic, as your gaze settles on a site unlike any other, the Itsukushima Shrine. Dedicated to three sea goddesses, Ichikushima, Tagori, and Tagitsu, this sacred sanctuary has stood for over a millennium. First constructed in the 6th century, it has been rebuilt multiple times, with its current form taking shape in the 12th century under the patronage of the powerful Taira clan. But what is it about this shrine that has mesmerized pilgrims, poets, and emperors alike? Let's dive into its history, its breathtaking architecture, and the stories that make it a living legend. A sacred vision takes root. The origins of Itsukushima Shrine are shrouded in the mists of myth. Local lore tells of Saeki no Kuramoto, a nobleman from the Hiroshima region, who one day found himself guided by an extraordinary sight, a divine bird soaring gracefully over the waters of Miyajima. Believing it to be a messenger of the gods, he followed its path to the island's tidal flats, where he vowed to build a shrine in honor of the three daughters of Susanoo, the tempestuous Shinto god of storms and the sea. These goddesses, protectors of sailors and bringers of prosperity, became the heart of the shrine's spiritual identity. The choice of location was no accident. Miyajima, meaning Shrine Island, was already considered a sacred place, its pristine forests and untouched shores deemed a dwelling for the kami, or Shinto spirits. Over time, the shrine grew in prominence, drawing devotees who marveled at its unique setting, half on land, half embraced by the sea. But how did this humble vision transform into one of Japan's most revered architectural wonders? The answer lies in the hands of those who shaped it. A dance with the tides. Step closer to the water's edge, and you'll encounter the shrine's most unforgettable feature, the floating torii gate. Rising 16 meters from the sea, this vermilion painted structure, crafted from resilient camphor wood, appears to hover above the waves at high tide. Weighing nearly 60 tons, it's an engineering marvel that has stood since its last reconstruction in 1875. But its true magic lies in its illusion, rooted in the seabed, yet seemingly untethered. It marks the boundary between the mundane and the sacred, inviting all who approach to pause and wonder. Beyond the gate, the main shrine buildings unfold like a vision from another era. Perched on stilts over the tidal flats, they ebb and flow with the sea's rhythm, their wooden corridors and sloping roofs adorned with delicate carvings. This design, perfected in the Heian period, reflects a deep respect for nature, allowing the shrine to coexist with the tides rather than resist them. Wander further, and you'll find the No Theater stage, a simple yet striking platform where ancient dramas still unfold, their haunting melodies echoing across the water. Why build a shrine this way, so vulnerable to the elements? Some say it was to honor the goddess's dominion over the sea. Others whisper it was to keep the island itself pure, untouched by human feet. Whatever the reason, the result is a masterpiece that feels alive, shifting with the tides and the seasons. A beacon of faith and culture. For the faithful, Itsukushima Shrine is more than a beautiful sight. It's a lifeline. As a Shinto sanctuary, it serves as a place of prayer for those who brave the unpredictable seas, from fishermen casting their nets to merchants navigating trade routes. The three goddesses enshrined here are said to watch over them all, their presence a comfort amid the storms. Yet the shrine's influence stretches far beyond religion. It's woven into the fabric of Japanese culture, immortalized in woodblock prints, haiku, and even the humble 5 yen coin. Each summer, the Kangansai festival brings the island to life, as boats adorned with lanterns glide through the bay, their crews playing traditional gagaku music under the starlit sky. It's a spectacle that binds past to present, drawing thousands who seek to witness this timeless celebration. But what stories lie beneath this serene surface? What secrets has the shrine kept through the centuries? Whispers of the divine. Legends cling to Itsukushima like sea mist. One tale speaks of Benzaiten, the goddess of music and wisdom, who is said to have appeared on Miyajima as a radiant woman, her lute's melody enchanting all who heard it. Some believe she lingers still, her spirit infusing the island with creativity and grace. Another story recounts the shrine's founding, crediting the divine bird not just with guiding Saeki, but with choosing Miyajima as a sacred refuge. History, too, has left its mark. In 1874, Emperor Meiji, the visionary leader who ushered Japan into modernity, stood before the Torii Gate. Moved by its majesty, he declared the shrine a national treasure, elevating its status and ensuring its legacy. But was his visit purely ceremonial, or did he seek the goddess's blessing for a nation in transformation? The answer remains a tantalizing mystery. Guardians of a legacy. The shrine's beauty is hard-won. Typhoons, earthquakes, and the relentless sea have tested its resilience, most notably in 2004 when Typhoon Songda battered the Torii Gate and flooded the complex. Yet each time, the people of Japan have rallied to restore it, using traditional methods to repair the camphor wood and reinforce the stilts. These efforts reflect a profound commitment to preserving not just a structure, but a piece of the nation's soul. In 1996, the world took notice, designating Itsukushima a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Alongside its status as a national treasure, this recognition underscores its universal value, a place where architecture, spirituality, and nature converge in perfect harmony. Today, preservationists work tirelessly to protect it, ensuring that future generations can stand where we stand now, gazing at the floating gate in awe, a gateway to wonder. The Itsukushima Shrine is no mere relic. It's a living testament to Japan's reverence for the divine and the natural world. Its torii gate, rising from the sea like a phoenix, beckons us to cross into a realm where history whispers and legends breathe. From the noble guided by a bird to the emperor who knelt before its beauty, the shrine has woven itself into the tapestry of a nation. What would it be like to walk its corridors at dawn, the first light glinting off the water, to hear the gagaku drums of Kangen-sai echo through the night? The Itsukushima Shrine invites you to find out, to step onto Miyajima and uncover its secrets for yourself, whether through a visit or the pages of a book. One thing is certain, its story is far from over, and its mysteries will linger long after the tide recedes. Potala Palace, the sacred fortress of Tibet. In the heart of Lhasa, where the air is thin and the sky stretches endlessly above the Tibetan plateau, there stands a monument that seems to rise from the very soul of the earth. The Potala Palace, with its white and red walls cascading down the slopes of Marpuri Hill, is more than just a building. It is a symbol of faith, power, and the enduring spirit of Tibet. For centuries, it has served as the winter residence of the Dalai Lamas, a beacon of Tibetan Buddhism, and a fortress of secrets. As we conclude our journey through history's most sacred temples, let us ascend the steps of this divine palace and uncover the stories that whisper through its ancient halls. What mysteries lie within its walls? What dreams were woven into its foundations? And how did this palace become a symbol of hope and resilience for a people whose story is still being written? A vision born of devotion. The story of the Potala Palace begins in the 7th century, during the reign of Songtsen Gampo, a king whose heart was as vast as the land he ruled. Legend tells of his marriage to Princess Wencheng of China and Princess Bhricuti of Nepal, unions that brought Buddhism to Tibet. To honor his brides and the faith they cherished, Songtsen Gampo ordered the construction of a palace on Marpuri Hill, a place already steeped in sacred lore. It was said that the hill was the abode of Avalokiteshvara, the bodhisattva of compassion, and thus the palace became a symbol of divine protection. But the Potala we know today owes its grandeur to the 5th Dalai Lama, Ngawang Lobsang Gyatso, who in the 17th century transformed the modest structure into a fortress of faith. Under his guidance, the palace grew into a sprawling complex of over 1,000 rooms, its white walls symbolizing peace, and its red walls representing spiritual authority. The 5th Dalai Lama's vision was not just architectural, it was a declaration of Tibet's identity, a fusion of spiritual and temporal power that would endure for centuries. A palace of two worlds. The Potala Palace is divided into two distinct sections, the White Palace and the Red Palace, each with its own purpose and aura. The White Palace, with its gleaming walls, served as the administrative heart of Tibet. Here, the Dalai Lamas governed, their decrees echoing through the halls where monks and ministers worked side by side. The air was thick with the scent of butter lamps and the murmur of prayers, a place where the sacred and the secular danced in delicate balance. Above it, the red palace rose like a crimson crown, its walls a testament to the spiritual life of the nation. Within its chambers lay the heart of Tibetan Buddhism, shrines adorned with gold and jewels, chapels where the relics of past Dalai Lamas rested, and libraries filled with ancient scriptures. The most revered of these is the tomb of the fifth Dalai Lama, a stupa encased in gold and precious stones, a monument to the man who shaped Tibet's destiny. But the palace is more than a collection of rooms. It is a labyrinth of hidden passages, secret chambers, and treasures that few have seen. Whispers speak of tunnels that stretch beneath the hill, connecting the palace to distant monasteries, and of vaults where sacred relics lie undisturbed. What secrets do these walls hold? What stories would they tell if they could speak? The palace as a spiritual beacon. For the Tibetan people, the Potala Palace is not just a building, it is the earthly abode of Avalokiteshvara, the embodiment of compassion. Each Dalai Lama, believed to be a reincarnation of this bodhisattva, has called the palace home, their presence a living link between the divine and the mortal. Pilgrims from across the Himalayas have journeyed to Lhasa, their feet worn and their hearts full, to glimpse the palace and receive the blessings of the Dalai Lama. The palace's spiritual significance is woven into its very architecture. Its 13 stories rise like a ladder to enlightenment, each level representing a stage in the Buddhist path. The murals that adorn its walls, vibrant with color and alive with deities, demons, and enlightened beings, tell the stories of the Buddha's life, the history of Tibet, and the teachings of compassion and wisdom. To walk through the Potala is to walk through a sacred text, each step a prayer, each glance a meditation, a fortress of resilience. The Potala Palace has not only been a sanctuary of peace, it has also been a fortress of resistance. In 1959, as Chinese forces advanced on Lhasa, the palace became a symbol of Tibetan defiance. The 14th Dalai Lama, Tenzin Gyatso, fled to India, leaving behind the palace that had been his home. The image of the Potala, standing tall against the backdrop of a changing world, became a beacon of hope for Tibetans in exile, a reminder of their heritage and their dreams of freedom. Today, the palace stands as a museum, its halls open to visitors from around the world, yet its spirit remains unbroken. The murals still shine, the statues still gaze serenely, and the air still hums with the echoes of prayers. For many, the Potala is a symbol of Tibet's enduring identity, a testament to a culture that refuses to be silenced, a legacy etched in stone. As we stand before the Potala Palace, its red and white walls glowing in the light of the setting sun, we are left with a sense of awe and reverence. This is a place where history, faith, and art converge, a monument to the dreams of kings and the devotion of a people. The palace's journey from its humble beginnings to its role as a spiritual and political center, from its days of glory to its moments of peril, mirrors the journey of Tibet itself. But the Potala's story is not just one of the past. It is a living legacy, a reminder that the human spirit, like the palace, can endure the trials of time. As we conclude our series on history's most sacred temples, we leave you with this thought. The Potala Palace is not just a relic, it is a beacon, calling us to remember the power of faith, the beauty of compassion, and the strength of a people who have never stopped dreaming. Farewell and good night. And so, dear listeners, we come to the end of our journey through the sacred temples of history. From the sands of Egypt to the peaks of Tibet, we have wandered through time and space, exploring the wonders that humanity has built in the name of the divine. These temples are not just stone and mortar. They are dreams as made manifest, whispers of the eternal. As you drift into sleep, let the stories of the sacred places linger in your mind, a gentle reminder that the past is never truly gone. It lives on in the stories we tell and the dreams we dare to dream. Thank you for joining us on this voyage through history. May your nights be peaceful and your dreams filled with the echoes of the ages. Good night.